Storytellers, and welcome back to Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios Library, the podcast where we watch all these classic Disney animated movies for you because we like you and you're pretty special because you keep listening to us. And you like to listen to us. I know.
Yay.
They listen to TC. Did you know these people pay us to listen? They don't.
They pay? Well, I know. I didn't know about this. You know what, Jeff? I am coming over there with my shovels, and I'm digging up whatever gold you might have from this podcast. It will be mine. Mine for the taking.
You savage. I am Jeff. That's TC. Thank you also for our two-man play portrayal of Pocahontas, the movie that we watched this week from 1995.
1995.
Pocahontas. Man alive.
It was a movie. It was a movie.
It was a movie, and TC, I told you this off mic, and I'm not gonna lie, guys. Okay, I'm gonna lay it out. TC, I want to lay this out right off the bat, so that way if people can jump on the I Hate Jeff bandwagon right now, they can do it. I did not.
They don't have to wait.
Yeah, don't wait till the end. Just don't wait. I mean, come on, that'd be silly. I did not like this movie.
Really? What? Now, had you seen this movie before?
I remember while watching it, I had remembered that we watched this movie one time in school, and
because it's very historically accurate.
Yeah, and I'm pretty positive the teacher actually spent like an hour and a half after we finished the movie explaining how historically inaccurate this movie actually is. But no, I know that I've seen this movie once. I couldn't tell you what happened in it, except for the song "Color of the Wind," but
good song,
"Colors of the Wind," which man, I am not okay. Let's continue laying it out on the table, everybody. When that song played, also we're just getting right into it. I hope nobody minds how fast this is happening.
Let's do this.
But when that song happened, as much as I was just kind of like, all right. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I don't care. As much as that happened, as I was feeling, "Colors of the Wind" started. I legitimately got emotional.
That is a really incredible song, and and even the animation on it, the design of it's a very good song.
It's a very good song, and and then it ended, and I was like, oh, okay, that's right. We're in this movie.
We're back into this.
I'm sorry. I just had to tell everybody that. I had to tell them.
No, you know what?
Please.
This is the Disneyfication of a lot of the fairy tales and literature we've seen. This is definitely one of those. This is a complete reimagining of Pocahontas, because Pocahontas in real life was, I think, 12.
She wasn't in her early 20s like this movie makes her out to be.
She's 18. She's 18, right?
She's always 18. All of them are 18 apparently.
and this doesn't follow a lot of the standard Disney. Like even the ending is much different than what's to be expected. There's no happy ending on this one. Right. They go their separate ways.
They go their and honestly, that is probably the only thing that was the actual truth. I feel like that happened with the real Pocahontas was the fact that she didn't go with John Smith back to England. You know, I mean, she did in real life go back, or not go back, but go to England with another British guy that may or may not have kidnapped her, but still, I was just saying.
Which is in Pocahontas 2 does deal with that. Is it really? Walter Raleigh? I think it might be.
I think that sounds right. You know, whatever the tiny details, the fact that she may or may not have gotten kidnapped and taken to London, and then she may or may not have been poisoned or killed, doesn't matter. Side note, yeah, right. I know. And then after she had given baby, anyways, what?
This. That wouldn't surprise me if the sequel does deal with that, because this one, 3 people get shot in this movie.
There's a lot of
One of them dies. This is such a much more adult and... Well, okay, let's just get right into the Katzenberg stuff, if I can just knock that out of the way.
Oh, yes, please do. TC's final Katzenberg moment. Hey.
This is the end of it here. I'm
because sad,
the Lion King. Oh, well, don't worry. There's a coup that happens later in about 10 movies. There's a coup that happens that will offer up some interesting points of conversation. Ooh. So I had mentioned this last week. Lion King was the B team. People were jumping off of Lion King, requesting to be put on Pocahontas because that was the prestige picture. Katzenberg, he has such high hopes for this initial release. This was regarded, Pocahontas was regarded as the prestige project more than The Lion King, and they even believed that they had a chance of earning another Academy Award nomination. They were checking off boxes because they figured it out. This was the height of their hubris. They were like, we know how to do this now. We got it all.
Which is
we got the checklist.
Which is insane because it's like, first off, you can't actually. They got greedy. Okay, so they were just super greedy and thought that they could do this, right? Mm-hmm. And it's insane because when I was watching this movie, because like you said, like Lion King was considered the kind of just secondary. Man, it's not going to be the thing. Like this is going to be
Pocahontas is the one.
Yeah, that's going to be the big movie again. And watching these two movies, especially back to back, and knowing that The Lion King is such a better film. Even if you want to be very blunt and be like, it totally rips off Hamlet or this or that or whatever. yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you said it because I could not remember the name of it. But like, even though you could be blunt and be like, it still rips it off, it's still a well-crafted movie. Like altogether, The Lion King is so much better than this. This is kind of just all over the place and doesn't.
It's a weird tonal mishmash of ideas here because you have people getting shot and killed on screen, and then you have Miko the raccoon and Flit the hummingbird doing their cutesy little Disney things, and it's this weird juxtaposition of tones. And this tonal inconsistency is part of the reason the Renaissance comes to the end that it comes to. It's Lion King is the peak of the Renaissance as far as I'm concerned, and everything we're going to see following this is missteps or poor attempts to recapture what made those four, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, and Little Mermaid, what they are. And part of that is tonal inconsistency. You can't have cutesy animal gags and then murder.
Right. Well, and what it felt like to me while watching it actually kind of felt like, oh, these are bits and pieces from different drafts of the script that, like, they obviously tried making it be a very fun, upbeat, cutesy Disney movie, and then decided, oh crap, no, it's too happy. We have to make this more serious, and we have to add in more of the natives in there, and more of the fighting and the war and the killing, and then people forgot that they left bits and pieces of that cutesiness in the movie. Like that's almost what it felt like. And
that came from Katzenberg. Because initially the original pitch for this movie was that the natives, Pocahontas' tribe, would only speak their language, and Pocahontas would be the only one who could bridge the language barrier. And Katzenberg said, "No, we can't market that. They need to speak English. Use magic. Figure it out."
Which is, and that's more of that stuff that kind of just confused me while watching the movie because, I'm assuming what it was. Like, because they're all speaking, the natives are speaking English for the first, 10 minutes of the movie or so, or whatever the length is. I don't know. Time was irrelevant while watching this movie.
John Smith shows up.
Yeah, exactly. But like they're all speaking English, and I just went, oh, okay, this. Obviously, I know that they never did, or they didn't actually speak English like this. They would probably have been speaking their native tongue. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Right. It's a movie. They're just speaking English. But then when John Smith shows up and Pocahontas speaks in her native tongue, that's the first time that I had consciously realized. I went, oh wait, they weren't supposed to be speaking English. So then I'm like, oh, so this is a Hunt for the Red October type thing, right? Like I'm assuming that's what we were supposed to be. Okay, so
we were hearing English, but they were speaking their native tongue.
And I'm like, you know what? Okay, and just a side note, Hunt for Red October, I felt like did that the best, and I know certain other movies have done it in very similar ways where they speak their native tongue for a while with subtitles, and then they do just they do a camera move, like in Hunt for Red October, where the camera dollies behind a character, and then once it gets around the character, now they're speaking English, but you are to assume they're continuously talking in their native tongue. Right. That works. If this movie had done something like that, I would have gotten, oh, we're supposed to be hearing their native tongue, but that's not what's happening. It just confused me.
It wasn't as clear.
No, and then go ahead.
That idea of wanting to have the natives speak their native tongue, that's a really ambitious idea. And there were a lot of ambitious ideas in this movie But it was less successful commercially than Katzenberg and Disney had hoped. This film, it got good reviews and it had a very successful box office, but because the film dealt with way more adult themes and tones, it just didn't appeal to kids. Right. And as much as the earlier Disney movies had, and it's because they went into it and said, this is the contender, we know how to win awards, this is what we're going to do. And it hit all the marketing things. You have the toys, you have everything but a catchphrase from one of the characters, to tell you the truth.
Right. I could not for the life of me tell you a quote from this movie. I could not tell you a line of dialogue. Even with the villain and his like handmaiden sidekick, both Governor Radcliffe and Wiggins.
Wiggins, yes.
Both
which
voiced,
I do have a tweet about for later.
Both voiced by David Ogden Stiers.
Yes,
so same
which
actor.
Is great.
Yeah, which
great little
when that
bit
happened,
of trivia there. Yeah,
when that happened, I went, it's Cogsworth talking to himself right now. Like that's what this is.
Well, he went in for the audition for Radcliffe, and he read the sides to himself. He read the scene to himself instead of whoever was supposed to be reading with him. So he did both voices in the audition, and they went, oh, well, he should just do both. And he does a great job as very two distinct, different characterizations vocally. But this movie is not as memorable as something like Colors of the Wind is, which we can talk about in a second. Overall, this movie isn't very memorable. I've seen this movie at least twice before. Within the past 10 years, I've seen it twice. And I forgot that Kokomo dies. Like, I forgot that completely.
It just goes to show you,
spoilers, sorry.
Spoilers. Hey, you know what? This movie's 22 years old. If you have not seen it, this movie's able to drink, everybody, okay? It's not our fault if we spoiled this. And see, that threw me off. I was not expecting that to happen. And I kind of sat there watching it going, okay, I know I probably should feel sad right now.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't, because I didn't know really who that character was enough to get invested in them. So when they get shot and they die, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, that sucks. Like that's
he
kind
had
of
like two lines of dialogue before his death. It was, "Hey, have you seen Pocahontas anywhere?"
Yeah. See, oh man, like making it had it been even Thomas, like the character of Thomas, voiced by Christian Bale, which guys, gang, ladies, men, children, did not know that Christian Bale was in a Disney animated movie.
You knew Newsies.
I knew Newsies, but I did not know he ever did a voice.
If you want another little fun bit of trivia, he plays Thomas in Terrence Malick's New World. Just by pure chance, he plays the same character again.
What?
What a coincidence, huh?
That's insane. But see, even a character like Thomas, had he have been either shot or if the roles had been reversed and instead of it being Kocoum, how do you pronounce that? Kocoum?
Kocoum.
Kocoum. It had been like the roles were reversed and the natives had killed Thomas, I would have reacted more to Thomas being killed because his character at least had some kind of screen time and kind of development and something. Okay, in all fairness, none of the characters in this movie really have development. Period.
Well, Pocahontas kind
outside of Pocahontas and
John
a little bit of John Smith.
Yeah.
Yep. But like outside of that, like nobody really. There's almost too many people. There's almost too many characters.
And yet it's hard to remember anybody.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't got anything.
This was a very ambitious film, and this actually is part of an idea that, or part of something that Walt Disney himself wished he could have done. When Walt Disney saw To Kill a Mockingbird, the Gregory Peck movie, after he left it, he lamented that he wished he could make movies like that. That's the kind of movies he wished he could make. But because Disney had already established itself as a brand and their success was completely dependent on sticking to their brand, he couldn't go out and try to make more ambitious films. At the time, Walt probably would have loved to have seen a movie like Pocahontas, which deals with much more adult themes, which isn't a kids movie. I would even go so far as to say this isn't necessarily a family film, because, and this goes to something we usually mention near the end of the episode, which is, would you sit a kid down to watch this? I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
I don't necessarily think there's enough through the whole picture to hold a kid's attention. I certainly know kids who like this movie. This does fall into the category of that divisive film where it's a lot of people's favorites and a lot of people forget about it. But in general, this is a more adult film, which is something that Walt himself wished he could have done. So I give him complete credit for wanting to do something like that, because there is something to be had in. Well, I mean, look at anime. You could look at something like Japanese animated films. They most of them aren't kids' films. Those are very adult films,
right.
and take it or leave it for what that is. Part of my disconnect with this film was trying to look at it strictly on its own merits and not bemoan the fact that, like, oh, I wish there was a showstopper song. Oh, I wish there was more fun characters, because this is a much more serious film. In that, from that point of view, this movie does succeed on that it is a more adult film, that it was ambitious to try to play with more adult themes and whatnot, but it still missed a lot of what makes Disney movies and just animated films in general work. Well, I'm a little conflicted.
And what my issue is okay, if they wanted to make a more adult film, fine, let's do it. Let's make a more adult-themed film. But don't, for the lack of a better term, don't half-ass it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I know we don't. I'm sorry that I have to say half-ass on the podcast, by all means. But like, don't go halfway. You either do it or you do it or you don't. The problem is, like, by doing a more adult-themed movie, but they still have magic, which Grandma Willow, which is a very confusing character, and where this movie, like, in the world this movie's trying to deposit itself in, we have a talking tree that may or may not do magic. And then,
actually, in watching it, Candace kept pointing out in all the Grandmother Willow scenes, it's more fun to watch it and assume they're tripping on something.
See, and that's what I thought. And I have
when John Smith sees the tree, she's like, just imagine he's high right now.
Because she
slipped him something.
I won't lie. I did not take a lot of notes for this movie. I did not take a lot of it, and that is one of the only notes I did write down was, okay, I'm assuming Grandma Willow is like a mental image. It's in Pocahontas' mind that she's talking to a tree, that it's all spiritual, it's all in her head. Like, okay, if that's the case, fine, movie. We'll move away from that character. I like that theory a lot better, though. that they're just high.
Hey, John, here, touch this corn. Now look at this tree. But you hit on something there. It's that if you're gonna go for it, go for it. And having cutesy Miko and cutesy Flit, which are good characters. I really enjoyed the Miko and Percy the dogs stuff. Those little vignettes, those are really cute. They have some great physical comedy and physical humor to them. I can appreciate those moments, but they weren't going all in. They're trying to appeal to too many people at once, which is a fault of many of films. If you look at the Phantom Menace is a perfect example of, like, you can't appeal to everyone because then the movie suffers.
Yep.
And I'm certainly not saying that Pocahontas is anywhere near the level of Phantom Menace. I'm just using that as an example.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, DC, I thought it was kind of weird that at one point when Pocahontas and John Smith got in their pod racer and raced for 25 minutes across the country.
I think you watched the wrong version of this film.
I did, but you said to watch the special edition.
I did. So did you watch the one on Netflix?
No, actually. So my version did not have the song in it.
Okay, so I watched the one on Netflix because I knew that would be the one that our listeners would be able to watch, and the song is not in there. I did break out my copy to watch that song, and the strange thing is the song. It's a love song between. It's called "If I Never Knew You," and it's a very, very beautiful song between Pocahontas and John when he's tied up after the natives have captured him. She sneaks into into where he's being held prisoner, and they sing to each other. It's a very beautiful song, and they did animate it after the fact, so you can tell. But they essentially do flashbacks to their whole time together using animation, like crossfades and whatnot.
Well, that's cheap.
And and they did have new animation as well.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, that song was cut from the film. Mm-hmm. It has a reprise, and the theme of Pocahontas and John is that song through the whole damn movie. So, so it's very strange. It's like, oh, all the motif of this song is throughout the film, but you never get the song.
You never get the complete picture because the song was taken out. That's hilarious. Yeah, I need to hear that. Well, because there is a like the '90s R&B love ballad version during the end credits, right? Is that not what plays during the end credits?
Yes,
okay.
it is. Yep. If I never knew you, and it's a very powerful moment, and it helps build that final piece of the puzzle before she throws herself down on him before his head's bashed in. And well, they weren't going to chop his head off. That thing was a rock.
That's true. Yeah, that was a very blunt object. That was going to suck. Let's just say that right now.
Yeah, that was going to take more than one hit. Now we're being really hard on this film. This movie is gorgeous.
Oh man,
this movie. I want to move away from just criticizing it, because this movie is insanely beautiful. And let's start from the root here. Glenn Keane, who I've mentioned many times on this podcast as one of the most important animators, like one of the most single important animators to the Disney library. He character designed every character in this movie. So what we're seeing is practically the purest form of Glenn Keane design work that you can see of all these films. So the design work is beautiful, but the color palette of this film is insane. Just from the first few shots, I could not believe the amount of colors that were in this movie. And
that's the one thing that I came away appreciating, and that's my second note that I made, was just how gorgeous the entire thing is, and then all I could think of is that, they spent all of their time making this movie look pretty. That was their focus, and unfortunately, even with a movie that it has 25 different people attached to the writing of this, three are only credited online. Now, granted, I can't talk down about that, because any of the movies that we have watched, all the way back to Beauty and the Beast, have at least 10 writers attached to it. Like, that's just what a Disney movie does during the new Renaissance era. But either way,
it's part of the machine.
It's part of the machine. Either way, it is beautiful. And again, the colors of the wind section, the section between the music and the visuals, is just fantastic. I loved it all. It was so great.
I don't recall if you said it off mic or if you said it in the past 20 minutes, but that Colors of the Wind is so moving of a section. That is the best portion of the entire film, is singing that beautiful song. I love there's a couple moments of, it looks like chalk animation as opposed to the hardline animation that we get. And it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful piece of the entire film.
It is. And I'm sorry, I cannot remember if I said it off mic or if I said it on air. If I didn't say it on air, yes, I reached that point in the movie, and it didn't matter what my thought was, or where I was mentally, whether I wasn't enjoying this movie or not. I reached that point, and I just went, dang. I had an emotional response. I actually kind of teared up a little bit, because I went, this is so gorgeous. This is just beautiful.
And not just the visualizations of it. Not just the visualizations of Colors of the Wind, but even the message behind it. Because there's the whole scene before it, leading up to the song, where he's talking about, you're a savage. We're gonna teach you how to do things right. And she's offended, and he's like, "Oh no, I don't mean anything by that. I just mean we know better than you."
Yeah.
Everything that you need to know about Manifest Destiny is in that scene and that song. and it's a very powerful moment. In everything I think the movie wishes it was is presented in that conversation and that song of his complete white man attitude towards the savages and her offense to that and opening his eyes to, hey, guess what? You're wrong. Your closed mind, your narrow view of the world is wrong. You will never know all these things if you just keep thinking this one way. Open your freaking mind.
Yep.
And that number and that scene and that dialogue and all those lyrics are so poignant and so powerful. Still poignant to this day. Sadly, still very poignant to this day.
Yeah.
There's a couple moments in this movie that just for the state of affairs that we continue to cycle back to in this world and in our country itself that hit really close to home. I mean, when Thomas, he's this young guy, he's wants to adventure, and he's a poor shot, and Radcliffe says, what was it? I wrote this down because I was like, geez, man, that is a very American statement. A man's not a man until he knows how to shoot.
Wow,
Right?
that feels so American right there. Holy cow.
Once two sides want to fight, nothing can stop them. And that is so powerful of a statement. And it's a shame that this movie still plays on so many stereotypes of colonialism and Native American culture, that those great powerful statements are lost in the stereotyping of the white man savior. Hey, like it's not a fine line to walk. It's a very clear line to walk, and people cross over it to the wrong side of it all the time. And the sad thing is, though this is kind of the end of Hollywood continuing to go back to colonialism, it's not the end, because you get something like Avatar, which is dances with Smurfs.
That movie would have been so much better, first off.
But it's this colonialism, manifest destiny, the savages and the white man savior who comes in, and that very cliche tropey storytelling technique is it's not. This may seem like an odd comparison to a way it's done well. Is West Side Story. West Side Story is obviously Romeo and Juliet, and Pocahontas, as we just watched it, was very twisted into a Romeo and Juliet tale. West Side Story presents the two different cultures clashing around the story of a love story really well. I think someone may disagree with me on that, but in the stereotypical fashion of Native Americans and the culture clash and the white man perspective of Pocahontas and Avatar and Dances with Wolves, I think West Side Story presents that in a much more a better way. It's just better. An odd comparison maybe that I'm comparing to, but hey, it's a musical and it's about a white guy and a brown girl.
Wow.
Oh boy.
I had nothing to go off of that one. I'm so sorry. I was trying so hard to rack my brain and go, so I had nothing. But it's a comparison. We'll go with that. Yeah. Well, I do. Yeah. I like I said, this movie was just. It wasn't. I don't know. I don't know what I expected going into it. I don't know what it was that I wanted out of it. Because I couldn't remember where it was going, and now we definitely are in the era of these Disney movies that I remember seeing this, and then I know for a fact I did not watch any of the other ones that followed after this, because I was I was out. I was out of it because I had my Beauty and the Beast, I had my Aladdin, I had my Lion King and even though I wasn't a huge fan of the Lion King growing up, I still watched it, and I remember hitting Pocahontas and just being like, oh, okay. And then Hunchback, So like
we'll get there.
that's for another time. That's for another time, another week, next week. But like this was definitely the movie that I remember just being like, oh, okay, these aren't for me anymore. Apparently,
yeah, it's disappointing because Pocahontas, I think, is a very cool character. It's great to see a female lead that is a person of color. It's a great time and era. It's a great backdrop to place a story in. And we'll get more native cultures, pre-colonialism from a couple other movies down the road, like Brother Bear and Emperor's New Groove and Mulan. But as far as this one's concerned, it's a cool backdrop. It's a very beautiful film. It's got a great song. You know what? I like Radcliffe as a villain in so much as he's such on the nose. He's such a villain. I think what makes him so villainous is like, dang, this is just too real, man.
Right. There's no hiding it. He is just sitting there going, gold. I want the gold. I will be rich.
Yeah.
I'll give anything. I'll have all that identified that I want because I'll be rich and I want the gold. And give me the gold because I'm an evil guy because I want the gold. Like that's all that it is.
And that is pretty historically accurate to maybe not necessarily the English explorers, more that it is the Spaniard explorers, the Spanish explorers like Cortez, which he mentions Cortez's gold at the beginning of the Dig, Dig, Dig song. And the attitude of coming to the New World searching for gold was more Spanish than British, but it still was really... Radcliffe was portraying a rather realistic villain.
Which...
And David Ogden Stiers does a great vocal performance, which we've already mentioned.
Oh yes. Oh man, he plays the, like I said, he plays the character of I just want the money. I just want the gold. I want to be rich.
Is he the greediest villain we've seen so far?
I think he's the most openly greedy villain we've seen so far. I mean, we get. I feel like a lot of our villains do come off as wanting more power or wanting, they want this. They want, they want to be rich. They want to be this, or Jafar. I want to have power. I want to have absolute power.
Yes,
like yeah. Jafar is probably the closest we get to it.
Yeah, but he's power hungry. He's power hungry. He's not riches hungry.
Right. So Radcliffe is he's our greediest, just general greediest, and not General Grievous. Or maybe General Grievous was in this movie. I recall this character while Pocahontas and John Smith
you watched the wrong edition of this movie.
I feel like it was the correct one. I mean, it had an opening scroll. So,
actually, this movie opened very similarly to Sleeping Beauty.
Yes,
with the choir singing and the pictures of colonial England. It felt very much like Sword in the Stone and Sleeping Beauty in its intro. Mm-hmm. But then we proceed to the cold open of John Smith, hero.
This is the character you're gonna want done by, because we haven't mentioned it, voiced by Mel Gibson.
That's
doing
right, yep.
the most iffy voice accent. Now I'm well aware. Okay, everybody. Okay. We all know this. Mel Gibson is American born, but he moved to Australia when he was very little, and he lived in Australia for years, which is why he had an Australian accent, and he got rid of his Australian accent once Mad Max and all that stuff had happened, and he came back over. I don't know what accent he does, but whatever accent he does in this movie, he only does it for like half the time.
His vocal performance doesn't bother me. He does a fine job.
He does a fine job.
It's not a terrible. It's how many natives do you think he's murdered? Because he's pretty proud of the fact that it's like, I'll take care of them.
It's like this is not his first rodeo. This man has killed a lot of natives before.
In fact, if he hadn't lifted his gun through the waterfall and pointed at a beautiful Pocahontas, he definitely would have killed her.
Definitely.
Just because there's like two remarks on like, oh, John Smith will take care of him. It's like, oh, this ain't my first rodeo. He doesn't say that obviously, but it's implied that he's a killer.
He might have killed one or two individuals in his day.
Yeah.
But you know what's more important than that, TC?
What's that?
Of all the movies that we have watched so far, come on, everybody at home knew we were going with that. Come on, don't tell me you were surprised. But of all the movies that we've watched, TC, I want you to tell me where you place it on your list. Now, we've only watched, this is our third in our new series of 10. Do we need to explain the list of 10 again, or are we still okay?
Yeah, if this is your first listening, what we're doing is we're breaking up the movies in 10 so that we can rank them 1 through 10. Once we're done with this entire series, we will rank our ones in a proper order.
I wanted you to have to say that because you're the one that always says that and you'd say it so well. So please, TC.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Where do you
first
rate
off, first off, because I always get a nice preamble before I rank it. Actually, it won't be any surprise where either of us are putting this. I want to say that I did get a few tweets and a couple reactions on the Facebook page where we post every episode before we were going to record. So if you want to ask us any questions, you can go to facebook.com/topshelfpod. I did get a couple reactions about our ranking of Lion King underneath Aladdin, and I want to reiterate just how close those two movies were, and that it was not by a large margin. It was a very, very thin margin that I put Aladdin over Lion King. And I'm speaking for Jeff as well. That I know that it wasn't number one with the bullets that Aladdin stayed there.
All right.
So I just wanted to reiterate that for those people who were shocked that we didn't put Aladdin underneath Lion King, because both those movies are just incredible in different ways. That being said, Pocahontas is number 3 right now. It's still a gorgeous, gorgeous movie. This movie is so pretty, and getting to watch it on my big screen plasma in high def on Netflix.
We get it, TC. You have a plasma TV, and you're all high def and modern. Okay.
Really, so much more so than some of the other movies we've watched in this series. That many of the movies we've watched have aged very, very well, and seeing this one up on the biggest screen I have available to me at this point in time is great. It's such a beautiful, beautiful film. But in the grand scheme of things, because of that tonal inconsistency, because of the characters just not being all that memorable, of only having, Just Around the River Bend is a memorable song, but Colors of the Wind being the only truly memorable moment of this whole film, it's number 3. And I will throw it to Jeff to say the same thing.
So mine is number. That you know what? Yes, that is yes. TC, what everything TC said, ditto. Unfortunately, that's the struggle. The struggle is whenever I rank any of the movies personally, it's trying to figure out exactly why. I don't want it to be I just didn't enjoy myself, so this is number 10. I don't care. Like, it's not that. It's got to be for a reason. And yes, I can. Sorry. I'm so angry. I'm knocking my microphone around.
Gesturing wildly.
I am gesturing. My hands are waving above me right now as I say this. No, but like just like what TC said, even with something as fantastic as Colors of the Wind and how pretty it looks, that I cannot go, well, it's got to be number 2 because of that. A movie will not get a higher ranking for one moment in it, because I got to look at it overall. And overall, for me, there's a lot of stuff that's just tonally all over the place, and I cannot justify ranking it any higher than number 3. And it's going to be interesting. So yes, I agree. Number 3 for me as well. It's going to be interesting to see where things land as we go forward.
Yeah, I'm wondering where this will stay as we proceed through this set of 10 in particular. This Pocahontas is it's such a beautiful film. I think really it feels very stage theatrically. More so than Beauty and the Beast, which I did point to the fact that it feels much more of a theatrical production. This one, and it might be because Alan Menken, he did do, he wrote the music with someone on this one.
Stephen Schwartz, the guy who
Stephen
wrote
Schwartz, there you go.
Godspell.
Stephen Schwartz, is a legendary Broadway
wicked
musical writer. So the fact that these two very, very competent Broadway musicians, composers, craft the tone and feel of this film, I think that's why it feels so theater. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that as an observation that a lot of the performances feel a little too larger than they should.
Right.
Pocahontas herself, who, again, I do want to credit and say is a wonderful character, some of her delivery and her lines feels very plain to the back row.
Right. And she definitely does have the standing stance of a theater performer, where it's just very like chest out, head up, arms back, and kind of just
very good posture.
Yeah, good posture
It's,
and singing out into the distance and kind of turning. You can't see what I'm doing, but like turning her head and like look. Yeah, she just felt very thematic, very theatrical.
Yeah, and Radcliffe being this wonderful over the top villain, he's just such a pale comparison to Scar and Jafar and Ursula. To follow those three, and Gaston even, he does feel more like Gaston than the other three villains I mentioned, but I don't know. Maybe little things. It's again going to that whole, if they had gone all in one way or the other, maybe this movie could have been enhanced, right? Like, there's no showstopper. I think the closest you could say to a showstopper song would be Dig, which is also the villain song, and that's a, I don't know. I don't know.
You know, the I don't know is exactly where I feel right now as well. I don't know. I don't know with this movie.
Yeah,
Unfortunate.
Would you put the kids down in front of this? I already made my feelings about it, that I don't feel that this necessarily is a movie you could sit a kid down in front of. However, I don't know, maybe an adolescent girl. I'm not an adolescent girl. I don't know if you are, Jeff.
Last I checked,
might find more joy in a movie like this than we're finding, because it's such a strong female protagonist.
right? And meanwhile here I don't think I would like, and I always go back to thinking of my sister, you know, like trying to think of like, or sorry, not my sister, my nieces, and being like, okay, would I sit down with my nieces and watch this movie? And I wouldn't. There's nothing. It's like you said earlier. There's not a lot to it in my head that would keep a modern kid's attention. And even so, even if you were like, well, I'm gonna show them this movie because of the story it tells, or the history of the character Pocahontas. You still have to sit there and go, well, actually, that wasn't real. That wasn't like, and now it's confusing. Because now you're trying to be like, well, it's based on history. There really was a Pocahontas, but here's all the things that were wrong about the movie. And you can't, then at that point, why are you even bothering? You might as well sit them down in front of an actual documentary about Pocahontas. Because it's probably
and
just
bore them to sleep.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I think that this might work more for a tween, in terms of maybe that would be a good audience for this to start there, because you could engage in conversation like your teacher did back in elementary school, that played the movie and then had an hour and a half conversation about its inaccuracies.
Exactly.
Something that, I don't know if this falls into the tropes of Disney or whatnot, but something that dawned on me on this, that we've seen more than once, is Disney trying to tell us that a girl getting married is the end of her life of dreaming. Because we've had that a couple times now, where like Jasmine being forced into marriage, or Aurora, you're going to get married, and that'll be the end of it. You get married, and that's it. And that so strongly is Pocahontas' feeling this, that it verges on being a trope. And I can't think offhand if we get that anymore after this. Actually, no, there's one movie in particular that we'll get to that plays with that idea of. But I just feel like Disney has had this message more than once to the girls out there, as like, either A, if you get married, you have to stop dreaming, just give up all your dreams because you belong to this man now, or maybe it's more like, hey, you got to find love, fall in love and marry for the right reasons, which is a great lesson to say yes.
Yeah,
but. I do feel like there's this weird message being said more than once in some of these movies of like, hey, once this happens, you're done.
That's it, guys. Sorry. It's all she wrote. Just pack it all up and go home.
And yeah.
Well, TC, was there any comments on the Facebook or on Twitter that you may have received regarding this film or last week's movie?
Yes. I do have a couple comments to hit, and one fun theory that was commented to us. So first off, we got facebook.com/topshelfpod. Again, you can comment there before we record or once this episode is up. We'd love to hear your reactions. We have a comment from Chris Scholes and asking, if you have any thoughts about Pocahontas. He said, "Oh, you mean that 11-year-old or so and Mel Gibson?" I think this is where the songs went downhill, just not as good in my opinion. And yes, the original Pocahontas was 12. This Pocahontas is 18, so she's perfectly legal.
Perfectly legal, guys.
She's a woman. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
She's a woman.
She's a woman, and real quick, because we never mentioned it, with the most insane hair of any of our villains, whoever was whoever was tasked with animating her hair in this movie.
Not villains, but heroes. Yes.
Yeah, just insane hair. That's all I'm saying.
Well done. I mean,
yes,
it's you got to tip the hat to Glenn Keane for his design work on all these characters. Her hair is
it's like its own character.
It's beautiful. It's part of the beauty of this film. And so Scholze says he thinks this is where the songs go downhill. I just, in general, because of the 4 pictures we've had leading up to this being the legendary films they are, it's going to be tough to hit that peak again. But I will say there are some songs that we are going to get that are quite good. And Colors of the Wind really is a good song. Just Around the River Bend is a really good song. So thank you for your comment, Scholze. Wyatt comments in with Pocahontas is the first film in the lineup where I can't understand why they thought it would be a good idea to turn it into a feature film. It often bothers me that when people consider Pocahontas to be a fairy tale, since she is represented in the Disney Princess franchise, Colors of the Wind is a good song, but the rest I tend to forget. Not to be negative, I just don't like the film. Wyatt, obviously, you are not alone in feeling this.
Nope.
But I do think it's worth mentioning the Disney princesses, the crowned Disney princesses. Now, technically, Pocahontas is a princess because she's the daughter of the chief. So I don't know if princess is the right term for that, but she's the daughter of the leader of the tribe. The Disney princesses, it's an interesting title that they officially give characters. So, for example, Mulan is a crowned Disney princess. Though they may not be princesses in their films, Disney will do coronation ceremonies for their heroines and officially crown them Disney princesses. So when you see the lineup of quote-unquote Disney princesses, they're not lining those characters up and saying they were princesses in their films. They have officially crowned them as princesses in the Disney pantheon. So there's just a little fun fact about when you see characters on that list that weren't princesses in their films.
That makes a lot more sense, actually.
And, all right, I do have a comment just from my offhand comment. That was Jim Cummings singing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Jim Cummings.
His voice is...
He actually did 2 different songs, or he did 2 different voices in this movie.
The chief and the elder chief.
Yep.
He sang both of them, and he sings them back to back in the Savages song. Like, that's Jim Cummings twice.
Yep, that's Jim Cummings. Now that you got the ear for it, now it's all you're going to be able to hear.
Before I hit the other comment here on the theory, were there any firsts or tropes you wanted to hit up on?
None that I had for this week, unfortunately.
Barefoot protagonists.
That's true. That would be true.
Yeah.
Like, there's no villain that fell to his death. I guess the villain had an animal sidekick. I guess you could argue. And actually, I guess the protagonist had an animal sidekick as well. But yes, that was. I unfortunately did not find many for this week's episode.
All right. Well, we do have a great theory here. So this is a comment from Candace. So because David Ogden Stiers voices Radcliffe and Wiggins, do you think that Wiggins is a figment of Radcliffe's imagination? Now, so she commented on that before I watched the movie. And you know what? No one interacts with Wiggins.
I was just going to ask.
Radcliffe.
I was just going to ask. I don't recall anybody else talking to him in the entire movie.
Not one person. So after she said that, I was like waiting. I'm like, someone's going to talk to him. He's going to interact with something that someone else touches. No, not once. So I think that theory holds water, that Wiggins is a delusion of Radcliffe.
Interesting.
So now when you watch this movie, Pocahontas is tripping balls when she's looking at Grandmother Willow, and Wiggins is Tyler Durden.
Okay, in all fairness, maybe I should have thought of these or heard of these theories before I watched the movie. I might have enjoyed it a little bit more.
That's it. Yeah, that once she mentioned that, I was like, huh, that's something to think about. And as the movie progressed, I'm like, no one's talking to this guy. He doesn't exist.
Fascinating theory. I give that the top shelf stamp of approval.
Seal of approval.
And yep, I am okay with this theory. I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. I think that's a great theory. Makes for a more enjoyable movie.
I agree. Concur.
Awesome.
But that looks like, I'm just going to check Twitter real quick, see if any comments came in last minute here. And I don't see anything else. Okay. So there we go.
All right. Well, obviously, overall, just Pocahontas wasn't a fantastic movie. There was definitely some pluses to it. There was a couple of good songs. There was beautiful gorgeously animated the entire way through. Mm-hmm. But just unfortunately, wasn't the greatest overall. And I'm very excited. However, I'm very excited for next week's movie.
What's next week?
Well, next week's movie, or next time, just in case for some reason we're not able to record for whatever reason, the next time's movie is The Hunchback of Notre Dame from 1996.
Yes.
Fully in the movies I've never seen before. I know nothing about this movie. I don't know, except for the fact that I know it's about the Hunchback. I know the concept of the movie. I don't know what to expect out of it at all.
Okay, that's exciting for me. I'm excited that I get to experience these films with you for the first time. Because like I've mentioned more than once, I've seen all these. I might not remember certain things, such as the shooting to death that happened in Pocahontas. And it's fun to go back to these and rewatch them. So I'm excited that this will be your first experience with Hunchback. I'm curious to see where this falls on a lot of people's radars, because this was the movie, Hunchback, I had feelings about when I was younger. But we'll touch on that next week. So, I think that does it for this episode. This is much shorter than we've.
I know.
We've said everything we had to say.
I kept looking at the time, and I'm like, you know what, guys? This is just gonna be a shorter episode, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. We're allowed to have those every once in a while, everybody. So, all right, TC. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I look forward to talking about The Hunchback next week. I hope everybody tunes in. Thanks, everybody, again for listening every single week and leaving the comments on all the social medias for TC to find. I am greatly saddened, and I'm sorry, because I don't spend a lot of time on social media lately, but I'm greatly saddened to when I found out that the voice of Rafiki had just passed away.
Yes,
like literally
just we'd finished recording.
Oh man, alive! That's so sad because I liked Benson. Come on, guys. It was Benson. Sorry. Anyway, to end on a sad note.
that would be a comment that we did get last week, was that we, unfortunately, because he passed away after we recorded, we didn't get to talk about him. And Rafiki, if you want to talk about it real quick, Rafiki as a character in Lion King is great. So we did mention that maybe he's just a crazy old coot running around going, "Are you Simba? Are you Simba?"
Ha! And then he's just bashing a bunch of people over the head the entire time.
It's sad that he has passed away. A good long life. An actor who made his mark in pop culture in his own way. Maybe not a household name to you, to any of you listeners, but that was a sad loss and very timely to our episode.
Yes. Well, I'm so glad that I could bring everybody down at the end of this week's episode. So with that, everybody,
let me finish it off here. You can Twitter Pate at me at TC's Big Head. You can hit Jeff up at Random Bell. If you're listening to this at ghosthead.net, or if you're listening on Facebook.com/TopShelfPod, or iTunes, or Stitcher, or Google Play, or anywhere you're listening to this, feel free to comment at us. Let us know what you think about this. We appreciate all the feedback we get and the engagement you guys give us. So we thank you for all of that. With that said, I'm TC.
I'm Jeff.
Jeff.
Hi.
This was a podcast.
Yes.
We were the people you were listening to.
Uh-huh.
This is a sign-off.
See, we got it. You didn't need to write it down.
Nailed it. I nailed it.
Nailed it. You totally read that off a piece of paper, like in front of you, right?
Did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not. It was off the top of my head. I just remembered it.
Awesome.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye, everybody. This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.